What's up, everyone? Today we're asking some questions. What the hell is everyone looking for? Why are salons offering sign-on bonuses? Why are businesses struggling to keep employees? I might have stuttered there a little. Why are hair pros salon hopping? Why are some owners doing the same thing over and over even though it stopped working 8 years ago? Welcome to the show. My name is Todd. I'm here with my wife and business partner, Jennifer.
Hello.
And we're recording this on your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
For Monday.
Thank you.
Cutting it close because it's the holiday season here.
It's true. It is. Happy holidays.
We're the co-owners of whatever. You probably know that. Whatever. If you're new here.
Hello Hair Co. and the Hello Hair Pro podcast.
Yeah, whatever. We need to switch up our intro. Yeah.
Okay, good.
You're listening to the Hello Hair Pro podcast, which you probably knew because you pressed the button.
Welcome.
All right. So I'm going to open up here. But doing the same thing over and over because it works is a dangerous formula. And I know that might sound counterintuitive, but it's literally the road to complacency.
Agreed.
And I think it's important for people to understand what other people want, employees and clients. Agreed? No?
Yeah.
You gave me a little feedback there.
Sorry,
so I was like, got some feedback. I'll wait and see.
Oh, you were still going. I was just going to say you have to actually listen if you want to know like how to do things differently. Like what are people asking for? What are they looking for? What do you hear of the complaints? And then what are you doing with that? If it's nothing, then you're in trouble.
For sure. Yeah. So, and figuring out what people want, that's how you identify and discover trends. Like, so identifying trends isn't looking around and then going, oh, hair pros want to rent a booth. Like, good job, Sherlock. But that's not necessarily true. That's not what they want. What are they actually after?
Right.
And I believe that people aren't sure how to get what they want, and that leads to people making mistakes. People salon hopping, people renting that maybe not are ready or shouldn't rent, or people that are in a situation, like I know of some people that are booth renters that probably don't want to be. But they view it as like maybe going backwards if they, which is not true.
Or they salon hopped a few times and couldn't find a good leadership run, whatever, salon. And so they're like, it's not possible to
well-run salon.
Yeah, that
work
one.
There.
It's not possible to
Happy
find
holidays.
what I'm looking for. Right.
I'm going to have some more coffee. Yeah, whatever. I don't even care. It's just trying to help people.
Yeah, I think...
I don't even know what I don't care about. I just said that.
Okay, I love that. Sense. We're using these really cool Polar Express mugs for our coffee to be super festive. I would bet that most people salon hop, whether you go from commission to independent or you... whatever it is that you're doing, or commission to commission, is instead of have a hard conversation or an honest conversation with whoever you should in that salon, you're like, I'm just going to go find another one because it's easier to not be uncomfortable and just go find somewhere else. I'm saying that because I think sometimes people are in a good spot. Maybe you're working with good people, but maybe there's certain things you don't like that how they're run, or you're wondering if maybe they could be changed. Like, hey, this isn't working for me. Would you ever be open to this? I would ask those questions first rather than just go and try another salon. Because let me tell you this, the grass is not greener on the other side. And then you end up almost searching for that salon that you really liked, but you just didn't have some great conversations with your leadership. And you're left like, what do I do now?
Yeah. So I just think it's vital for people to understand what other people are looking for so that as an owner, as an employee, as a self-employed, whatever you want to call yourself, you can give it to them. And that is truly what business is about. It's identifying what people want and then providing a solution to get them there. That's it. Right. It's that simple. So yeah, you're right. The grass is not always greener on the other side. It's rarely greener because oftentimes it's you're the problem.
Right. So the problems are the same and you're just in a different colored space.
Yeah.
With a different name.
You know, and I've been there too. I've hopped jobs in the past and made mistakes and tons of stuff. That's how you learn.
Right.
But the important thing is to actually still continue to do that, still continue to explore, still continue to discover new opportunities and not just settle or not just do what you think, you know, the status quo or whatever. Like, oh, I'm just using renting a booth is it renting a booth, renting a chair?
Call it what you want. It's all the same.
Yeah, I don't care. I just don't want to offend anybody because I know people get offended. Just kidding. I don't care about your feelings.
Renting a booth is probably from like 2015.
Oh, wow. 7 years ago.
Renting a chair might be more like 2020. Now, independent stylist, you're in 2022.
Okay.
They're all the same.
But I think a lot of people
spot on that. I hope someone's laughing and like, oh my God, she's so right.
If they're old enough.
Shut up.
Yeah. So I think this is what happens. You see all this shit on social media and you're like, oh, it's so grand. Like I'll own my own business. That's a different topic. You don't own anything, but it's not. That's not maybe your answer.
Right.
That might not be what you're looking for.
Right. That might not fill your cup and you thought it was going to. So now where are you at?
Exactly. So the reason I wanted to chat about this episode is because this is going to drop this will be the last episode of the year, right?
Whoa.
So of the calendar year. And I know that heading into a new year always brings this mindset of like, hey, we should change something.
Right.
Whether it's, you know, I'm going to give up certain foods or I'm going to exercise or I'm going to get a new job or this is my year. And then you don't do any of that shit. But maybe this will inspire somewhere out there to question themselves. And that's really what it's about. I'm not trying to give anyone a template. I'm not trying to say this is just how you do it. There's no one size fits all. It's really up to you. And you're the one that has to ask the questions to yourself first and figure out what you want.
Right.
And then go get it.
And if you're saying to yourself, I don't know, I never thought about what do I want? Well, now you should start. Literally make a list. Like what would be the most best things you could have at the job? Like what would be your dream job? What things are you willing to sacrifice? What things are you not willing to? And then start to kind of search through that. And maybe where you're at has most of that. And if you had a few more things, then maybe you ask for those things. Like, hey, I would really love it if we had these things at our job. Or maybe you're looking at that list and where you currently work, you didn't realize maybe how miserable you are. And now it's time to put in action the stuff that you are looking for and find a place that has majority of those things for you.
All right. So what do people want? I have a little short mini list that I made up just off the top of my head.
Okay.
So this isn't in any sort of order or anything, but I do think that people want, and this goes on. I try to present it whenever we give information. I try to present it for like owners, independent people, and employees.
Yeah, I agree.
So this will fit all three, but people want a clear path to opportunities.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
What does their growth look like? I don't want to take a job and then that's my job. There's no growth.
Right.
Unless I'm like waiting tables or something and you know that your job is just waiting tables. Yeah. That clear path should take into account the quickest line of action. So people want to minimize, and I'm going to tap on this in a second, but people want to minimize the time it takes to get from point A to point B. Mm-hmm. Point B is their second stage or whatever, right? And that's okay as long as you're not trying to force shortcuts that aren't realistic.
Right.
So in some situations, I might tell somebody, okay, this is great. This is an awesome goal. This is a 3-year goal. And then someone else is like, no, you can do that in 6 months.
You can, but you might fall on your face.
You can, but at what cost too?
Right. Yeah, I think
just to say you did it, or right. Are you trying to like be successful? Are you trying to optimize something, or are you just trying to like write your name on the wall somewhere or whatever?
Right. I think some things are a sprint. Most things are a marathon.
Mm-hmm. It would make sense just based on sense. I don't know. Whatever. It's the holidays. So another thing that people want is flexibility.
Yes.
And I don't know where it comes from. I don't know if it's necessarily a generational thing because I like flexibility too. Mm-hmm. But people want, like, so an employee wants flexibility in their schedule, for example.
Yeah.
And that's important, especially people that like us that have kids that things pop up and you need to move things or whatever.
And I think when you say that, because we've had people come in and they're like, I know I have to work nights and weekends, but I really want a schedule that's like whatever, 9 to 3, we'll say. And I quickly go to, well, why wouldn't you just start working 9 to 3? Why are you trying to attract clients that want nights and weekends if you don't want to work them? Now, that may take you
because
longer.
Those clients may not be
9 to 3 people
able to come to you at 9 to 3. So why
I'm like,
build with them?
Start with your 9 to 3s. It might take longer for you to build, but at least you will be working the schedule you want and you understand what that looks like. And then we have a conversation from there. I think some people start out like, I'll just work whatever, but they don't really mean it. And they find themselves miserable, but they created their own miserable situation because they weren't honest in the beginning of really what they wanted.
Yeah. True story. So one of the things that we offer at our salon is definitely flexibility of schedule, and flexible, not just like work whenever you want. It's not a free for all, right? So our staff still lets us know.
Right.
We don't approve or disapprove or whatever time. We don't deny, I guess would be a better word.
Yeah.
Time off.
Just give us the heads up.
Just give us the heads up because one, I have a business to run. And if we can fill that chair, maybe somebody else wants to pick up the shift or whatever, right? We're going to advertise that. And then we obviously like to know who's in the space at what time. So
definitely
stuff like that. You don't have any clients or your day falls apart and you want to take off, go for it. Yep. I do not want to sit around.
Right.
So I know other people don't want to sit around. And guess what? Those people are like me. So that's what we're going to attract.
Well, and we hire on a way of people that can hold themselves professionally. They don't need to be babysat. So we understand that they're mature enough to have these freedoms because they work well in that situation, I guess.
Well, what else do people want?
Flexibility. Then I just said freedoms, but I think
well, flexibility is a freedom, yeah.
So
and we already said flexibility.
Yeah.
So what's next is what I'm saying.
I don't know. What else you got on your list?
How about work with strong, talented,
That'd
colleagues?
Be number one on my list. Yes.
Yeah. That's something that you want. You want to work with talented people,
yes,
strong people that can hold their own. Not for the timid.
Right.
Some people want that though. That's great. It doesn't matter. This isn't right or wrong. If you're like, I don't want flexibility in schedule, just tell me what to work. That's great. That's fine too.
Yeah.
It's just knowing. I'm just saying, what are most people that we're seeing looking for in our specific industry? And I think it's important for people to have a strong, talented team around them. It gives you confidence. It gives you strength.
It also inspires you to be more creative and maybe
push yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
To know that you have a strong team around you that can get your back should maybe something go wrong. Like say you turn someone's hair green. What? Too soon?
Whatever. I made a mistake.
And it was awesome. And
thought I was smarter than I am. I knew how to fix it though. Yeah, true.
So another thing I see people want is structure. So with this flexibility and with all this freedoms that people are looking for, they still want structure. They still need and crave rules and boundaries to play within.
Absolutely. They
want goals.
Yep.
Something to stand for and a sense of belonging. Not saying you have to go be like, our salon is a family. That is the last thing I want. Do you?
I got family. I'm good.
Yeah, I have family. Some of them are gone because it doesn't always work. So I don't know where that ever came from. I always joke. I'm like, what are you, the Olive Garden?
I think that's like an old, like back in 2000 type
If you
thing.
work here, your family. Old, that's not that long ago. 22 years.
That's pretty long.
Not for me. I'm a lot younger than you. That's why it seems like.
You're so not.
Another thing that people want, I'm just going to be real with. So if you're a salon owner out there, this might sting a little, but people want follow through, man. Stop talking about all the shit you're going to do. Just do it. Don't post coming soon. Don't post this is on its way. Don't post we're going to paint, this room Pepto-Bismol pink. Don't paint. Whatever I was saying. You picked up on the joke.
I did.
Just do it.
Yeah, just do it.
Stop looking for your accolades. Stop looking for your freaking thank yous before you've done anything.
Right.
Just do it. If you're a leader, you shouldn't need to be necessarily thanked. Like, I'm not saying that feeling appreciated is not nice, but people, like, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to make improvements to your business. You own it. Mm-hmm. This stuff should just be automatic, but it's not. So I'm saying it. The last thing that I had on my list here was that people want guidance, leadership, and support.
Yes. I mean, high five.
Yeah.
Totally agree. And I don't know if they get any of those often.
Why?
Why? Because I think
what's your comment based on? This is a podcast, so if we just sit here and don't talk, it doesn't work. So like you say something in response to what I say. I busted my foot this weekend
and it really hurt. So my mind is...
You literally are sitting down.
Yeah.
With a coffee.
Yep.
And a microphone and a set of headphones.
And it's throbbing.
And a notebook with 3 words on it.
What people want.
Is that what you wrote?
Yeah.
There you go.
I think what happens is, I think there are... We'll just talk about owners in general. I think there are a lot of owners that are gung-ho. I'm going to open the salon and I'm going to run it better than the salon I worked at. And then they get into that salon, and as they start to try to run it, realize how freaking hard it is. They're basically not able to keep their head above water in how to lead people, how to do their finances right. I think one of the hardest things for even me as an owner is managing people. And you have all these different personalities, and it's very easy to get overwhelmed. And then you're like, whatever, they can just do what they want. And then something else you have to take off your plate. And before you know it, you're no longer running your business. You're not leading a team. You're not guiding them in any way because you're kind of in your own world and you're walking around with blinders on because you're so overwhelmed. I'm sure it happens to people that even go out on their own. They think, oh, I'm just going to go rent a chair, booth, independent, whatever you want to call it. And you get behind that and you're like, wow, this is a lot of work to do all the extra responsibility that you have to do because now you're in charge of that space that you're working in. And what happens is you start, I guess, whether you're aware of it or not, prioritizing in a way, and some of the stuff that's really important where all of it is, and you're not doing it all. And now you're not leading yourself well. You're not getting the guidance you need. So that's kind of what I was talking to. I don't think a lot of places are led well, guided well, or you get all of that stuff because they set out to do it, but then they fall flat on their face. And then before you know it, like I said, there's so much on their plate that now they just have to look at like writing out the bills and they can't handle anything else.
Okay.
That's all. That's where I was going with that. That's my paper. Sorry.
It is kind of loud, but that's okay. Do you notice the creaks? I fixed this desk.
Oh, I didn't notice the creaks because you fixed the desk.
Yeah, it's nice. So anyways, I just wanted to end the, calendar year by talking about what people want because, again, this time of year always brings around it's a new year and people start thinking of things and they're like, what do I want? What do I want to do? And the biggest thing I would say is to take action. And I'm not saying like, if you're not happy where you're at, I'm not saying stay, but I'm not saying jump ship either.
Yeah. Look within.
Because a lot of times, often if you're salon hopping, let's use that for an example, right? Okay. If you're salon hopping every 3 months, it's you.
For sure.
Now, on the flip side, most salons aren't run well.
Right.
So I don't know if there's necessarily someone to blame, but you're going to have to figure something out. Because just hopping around that's not the solution. You're not going to magically find, maybe you will. Maybe you stumble upon a great salon in your area and you're like, wow, I lucked out here. Won the lottery.
The thing is, though, if you're salon hopping, that means you're not doing the research before you're quitting or leaving your previous salon. And I'll tell you this, that is not a strategy that's going to work well for you. You should be putting in the time, treating it like an interview, going in and either getting a service, go in and observe. Like if you do a few of those
I would go
steps,
in before you even talk to them.
Yes, that's
go in as a civilian
and just get a service
as a citizen.
We've said that before, and I
don't tell them who you are. Right. Don't tell them that you do hair.
Right.
Make up a story. Go get a service. decide if you even like the vibe.
Right. Sit in that space. And
maybe you get in there and the stylist starts trash talking the owner. And you're like, yeah, I don't want to be part of this.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, you have to do the research. It's anybody who gets a new job in a professional situation, that's what they do.
Reach out to some employees that work there.
Yes.
Ask them, hey,
especially with social media, it's very easy to do that.
Because who knows? Maybe you reach out and you're like, hey, I'm considering coming to check out your salon. I was just wondering, how long you've been there. Like what drew you there? Whatever. They might be like, I'm actually on my way out. This place is terrible.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I saw our post this morning because there's like a New Hampshire stylist page, and it was someone that's moving to the area and was just like, I'm coming from wherever, can somebody...
Can I guess?
What?
Like 58 salons were like, you have to work for us.
Well, no, a lot of people were tagging other salons, but one salon in the area they tagged, and it was interesting because she quickly came back, was like, nope, I've heard that that's a very toxic environment. That is not the salon I'm looking for.
It. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm looking not for that. And the person was very professional who answered. She was just like, oh, I've never worked there. I just, I know of the salon or whatever.
So you know of a place, so you recommend it to work at?
Yeah, that was weird. It was a very weird post.
That is weird.
But you could go on something like that and it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe that's not the salon for me. Or maybe that was your salon. Now you really need to go in and get a service to see like what's toxic to one person may not be to someone else. But
right.
That's why you have to
exactly.
get in that's where I was going with that. Sorry.
I always take what people say, especially online, with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Unless I experience it, I don't necessarily believe it.
But that's also why, like you were saying, you reach out to employees or people that work there and yeah, maybe they're leaving or whatever's happening and you can get a little bit of insight. And then you still need to do your own homework on that, but it might just open your eyes to pay attention to things you wouldn't have seen otherwise.
Something that we offer at our salon is that it's like an invite. You can come in, shadow, and that doesn't mean assist and sweep floors. It means hang out.
Yeah.
You can have a service. It's on us.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can hang out for the day. You can come back and do it twice if you want. You can learn some of the technology that we use. You can play around with our software. Just see if the vibe is for you. Because if it's not, I would rather know now.
Right.
A week in than 6 months in that you're miserable. Because I don't want you to be miserable.
And the fit goes both ways.
Exactly. For sure. Mm-hmm. And I just think that it's important for people to start to, especially owners. Like, so we see these sign-on bonuses. $500 to work here, $1,000. I saw one that was like a place in Massachusetts that was offering like $3,000 to relocate. And I was like, $3,000 to relocate? That's not enough money to relocate. Right. What are you talking about? But people think money is the driver, but I don't think it is. People will hide behind it and say it is,
right,
because they don't know how to have actual conversations about what's really going on.
Right. Yeah, the driver, the things like you talked about at the beginning of the podcast, like what people are actually looking for.
They want to feel a certain way, not have $500. What does that do for you? I mean, I'll take $500. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely. But at the end of the day, if I'm only there for the next 3 months, I'm going to take my $500. I'm going to leave because this wasn't the place for me anyway.
Right.
And that was not a good
investment. A lot of them is like after 6 months or whatever.
Geez.
So it's really not a sign-on bonus.
No. It's to get you to be there for at least a certain amount of time.
Yeah. Another thing to watch out for, too, as you're working through this is fast-talking owners. The used car salesman owners out there that are like, you're so busy, I don't even have time to meet with you. That's how busy we are. We're turning away business. And you get there and you're like, oh, not what you said. Right. Yeah, of course.
Right.
If people are willing to pay you just to show up, like, that's not a thing. Yeah. I know that's how some people think, but that's not how that's not who, like, for example, we're trying to attract.
Right.
I'm not looking for someone that just wants to come in and get paid for, like, sitting around.
Yeah.
Now, you're getting paid. So, like, if you're not working in the beginning, you're building your clientele or whatever, we pay you. Yes.
Yeah.
But we're looking for the people that are like, I don't want you to pay me. I want to hit my commission.
Right. I want to be busy. I want to build.
That's more important of a mindset, not what's the minimum requirement for me to make the minimum.
Right.
Like, that's dumb. I don't want to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
I have one thing. This is what no, it's not.
Trying to keep these short.
It's quick.
Go ahead, birthday girl.
In this time of year for me, I always sort of look at like what what maybe I could do better next year at this time. Because it is a very busy time. Like I have clients that get their hair done maybe twice a year and I'm seeing them all right now and I love it and it's wonderful. But I also want to take care of myself. I want to be with my family. I want to enjoy the holidays. So I will always around this time reevaluate how I want my next year around this time to feel. And what I do, and I've already gone in and done it for myself next year. So this year was the first year I took off the day before Christmas Eve. So I have off December 23rd because I'm like, I've realized that if I work all the way through the 23rd, I'm so tired on Christmas Eve, I'm falling asleep by like 6 o'clock. And that is not what I want to remember for my holidays, or I not want my kids to be like, my mom was so tired working that like she's falling asleep on Christmas Eve. So this year I'm like, I'll take off the day before. I'm going to get myself organized. We're going to make cookies. It's going to be awesome. But having said that, coming into it, I realized I might even need more time than that. Like if my kids want me to do things at their school. So next year I'm going to take off from the 22nd on, and that gives me a couple days leading up. But I, reevaluated this year. I was like, I probably could have used an extra day just to like enjoy this time. And I love the time leading up to the holidays. So if you're coming in, as this will come out right after Christmas, and you're like, wow, that was so busy, I'm so exhausted. Now is a time to think of how you can change that next year, because you have next year to get to. Don't do the same thing, and at the end of next year, you're just as exhausted. Make the changes now, physically change your schedule for next holiday season to be more what you want it to look like, and then that's it, because you don't want to feel the way you did, or you loved how it was, and then do it the same way. But I feel like for me, every year I just get better at how I can balance between the holidays and enjoying them myself and not feeling just so exhausted that I need a nap. That's my piece of advice.
I do like naps.
I do too. But I also want to be present in the moment when the holidays get here.
So yeah, for sure. And that's great advice. And again, look at your schedule. Like if you plan, we did an episode, I forget which one it was, but for planning for a rainy day, and like, you want certain days off, attack that.
Yeah.
Put away your money for those days now.
Right. And let me tell you this, if you take off some time around the holidays, the clients will fill in the other spots. They'll go wherever you tell them to.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, well, everybody wants their hair done right before Christmas Eve. Okay, well, you don't have to work that. Like, you don't have to be for everyone. If you want to take off from whatever day till the end of the year, do that. And everyone will fill in before.
Do you know why your clients are able to come in on Christmas Eve?
Because you work it?
No,
I don't work it.
Because they're not at work.
Right. Yeah.
So they're not working.
Yeah. I learned a few years ago, like Christmas Eve is, you just close. We have online gift certificates. If you needed a gift, there it is. That's what we offer.
I'm also a firm believer that like you shouldn't be confused by the calendar. It's been the same for ever since I was born. It's been the same for, thousands of years before that.
Yeah.
It's the calendar. Mm-hmm. And people are like, I can't believe how fast the holidays came. It was literally the same exact amount of time. It's always been. It didn't just creep out of nowhere. It's just you didn't do anything. You sat around doing the same stuff, which was the same as last year.
That's why you got to plan. So
yeah.
If you don't like how this year ended with stuff that you did, then make those changes for next year. Don't do the same thing and don't let it creep up again and you're in the same situation. Now's the time to recreate or change what you don't want in 2023.
Yeah. When I had my gym, I always struggled with 4th of July week. The whole week was dead. And we did mostly group classes. And every year I was like, no, people will come in. I don't want to upset people if they don't come in. And like one person would show up to class. And I'd be like, so I'm here so that one person that decided to have a staycation. You know what I mean? Everyone's freaking away. We're in southern New Hampshire. Everyone goes up north or down to the Cape or wherever.
The first year we closed the salon for a few days because it's a slow week. And it was the best thing we ever did because the days around it were so much busier. It was awesome.
And also
the staff loved it.
Gives your team, a chance to like have some time off. And it forces them by closing. So as an owner, people want that leadership and structure. They don't have the option. Like we're closed. Jen, you mentioned Christmas Eve. We're closed on Christmas Eve. If the staff was like, hey, can I work? No. It's Christmas Eve. Go enjoy your time. But I don't celebrate Christmas. Not my problem.
Go to the movies.
Go do something. Yeah, have a random day off then.
Enjoy your
day. I
day.
don't care. Yeah. Just it's good to do that.
Yeah.
Do that for your team randomly maybe. Maybe you have a weekend in the spring every year that you close your salon and you like really do like a deep clean on stuff and move furniture and polish things, whatever. I don't know. But give people the day off. There you go.
There you go.
So I think we pretty much touched on everything, except why are the owners doing the same thing over and over, even though it stopped working 8 years ago? And I use 8 years just as a number, just random number.
Good one.
Yeah. So we're big on innovating and in breaking things. Something's working, let's break it. How do you make it better? How do you make it stronger? Mm-hmm. And if you're not constantly doing that, you're not constantly in a state of evolving. And I'm not saying every day or even every like year that you have to make major changes, but what are little things that you can do to stay with the times so that all of a sudden your salon's not in year 15 and you're like, it's ancient.
Yeah.
You have to stay current, and trends are going to change.
Yep. Always.
So yeah. And I think the industry's in for, over the next few years, some big changes, some actual changes. Because I think people are going to realize what they want and where it's available and where it's going to be easier, I guess, for lack of a better term, for them to get it. Mm-hmm. But that will be a different show.
Okay.
Anything else? We're sort of running long here. This like 30 minutes here. We're trying to keep these quick because it's holidays. So real quick, this episode is brought to you by Ping Pong Design and Marketing. If you want to love your website again, or you're looking for more clients to fill your business, reach out to Chris and the Ping Pong team. They're offering our audience a special discount. So visit the show notes, reach out to Chris and talk more about your needs. Yeah, man. Thanks for listening.
See you next year.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. If you celebrate something else, happy or merry of that.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Bye.